All right, let's jump right in. I want you to do something for me. Think back to your old high school English class. You can probably smell the old books, right? And feel that little sting from all the red ink on your essays, trying to figure out what on earth Shakespeare was talking about. Forever, really, that's what English class was. But things are changing. And I mean, they're changing fast.
Yeah. In fact, we've got to kick things off with a huge question. I mean, this is something that's keeping teachers and professors up at night. With AI now able to spit out a decent essay in, 10 seconds? Why even teach writing anymore? Seriously, it's a question that cuts right to the core of what English class is even for.
And look, it's not just about AI either. The whole field, it's just kind of being turned on its head right now. You've got technology, globalization, all these forces are making us completely rethink how we teach the basics, reading, writing, and that all-important skill, critical thinking.
So where do we even start to look for answers? Well, it turns out one place is a pretty amazing one. A bunch of experts are actually getting together on the big island of Hawaii, and their whole goal is to figure this stuff out, to literally map out the future of English.
Okay, so it's called Hicells 2026. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful. But what it stands for is the Hawaii International Conference on English Language and Literature Studies. And trust me, this is basically the place to be to figure out what's next for English. All the big, cutting-edge debates, they're happening right here. Which makes it a perfect case study for us to see exactly where this is all going.
So let's get the quick details. It's all going down in March 2026 at the University of Hawaii at Hilo. And check out the theme, Teaching and Learning in a Changing World. I mean, that says it all, right? This isn't some stuffy, old-school conference about the past. No way. This is all about what's coming next, about building the classroom of the future.
All right, so the first big conversation they're having is all about the toolkit. If pen and paper were the classic tools of the old English class, what's in the toolbox today? What does a modern English teacher even use?
So the whole field really breaks down into two main conversations. On one side, you've got English language studies. Think of this as the how. It's the mechanics, right? How we learn language, how we communicate. Then on the other side, there's literature studies. That's the what. What are we reading? What are the stories, the big ideas, the cultural lessons? We're going to kick things off by looking at the how, the tools.
And, of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe the robot in the classroom, AI. But here's what's so cool. Instead of everyone just freaking out about cheating, these experts are totally flipping the script. They're asking a much better question. How can we make AI a partner in learning? Imagine getting personalized feedback instantly, or doing these super dynamic exercises. It's a whole new way to connect with what you're reading. And it goes way beyond just AI. There's this huge focus now on what they call digital literacies. I mean, think about it. Learning doesn't just happen inside four walls anymore, does it? It's happening on your phone, scrolling through social media. We're just swimming in a constant flood of information. So the modern English class, it has to teach you how to navigate that world, how to be a critical thinker online. Okay, so if the tools we're using are changing so dramatically, it totally makes sense that the stuff we study with those tools has to change too. Which brings us to that second big conversation, the what. What books, what stories are actually essential to read today?
And here's the real game changer. It's not just about reading a beautiful sentence and saying, oh, that's nice. No. The new idea is that literature is like a workout, a gym for your brain. It's where you practice breaking down complicated stories, seeing the world from someone else's shoes, and learning how to spot bias. Honestly, these are straight-up survival skills for the 21st century.
And this is where things get really exciting, I think. The old idea of what counts as great literature is getting blown wide open. Conferences like this one are pushing for more multicultural voices, more world literature. And since it's in Hawaii, there's a special focus on incredible stories from the Pacific Islands. The goal is to make sure the classroom actually reflects the amazing diversity of the real world.
Now, these big ideas aren't just floating around in the abstract. They're being pushed forward by real, passionate people, researchers and teachers. So let's meet a couple of the trailblazers who are going to be speaking.
First up, you've got the keynote speaker, Professor Paul Ki Matsuda. And listen, when they say his work has shaped the field of second language writing, that is not an exaggeration. This guy is a giant in his field.
So you might be asking, what exactly is second language writing? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's the study of how people learn to write well in a language that's not their first one. And in our super-connected world, where English is so often the language of business and science, you can see just how vital his work is. Then there's Dr. Leanne Day, who's actually from the University of Hawaii at Hilo. And her work is a perfect example of what we were just talking about, that big push towards multicultural, place-based stories. She's focused on cultural representation in the Pacific. And get this, she's won a huge award for her teaching, which just proves that this isn't just theory, it's making a real difference for students right now.
So you take the new tools, like AI, and you combine them with the new texts, these diverse global stories, and what you get is a complete reimagining of English class. It's nothing short of the future of words.
And hey, if there are any educators or researchers out there watching this, the conference is actually looking for people like you. You can submit your own work or just register to be part of the conversation, and you can even do it online.
Okay, let's talk deadlines for 2026. The big one to circle on your calendar is February 15th. That's when you have to get your abstract in if you want to present. And here's something really cool. To make sure more people can join in, they've made the registration for students and online presenters just $250. It's a great way to open the door for the next generation of thinkers and teachers. You know, at the end of the day, what happens at a conference like this matters to all of us, not just academics. These aren't just dusty old debates. What's being decided here will literally shape how our kids and grandkids learn to communicate, to think for themselves, and maybe most importantly, how they learn to understand each other through stories.
And that brings us right back to where we started, to that big, scary question about AI. But maybe we can look at it differently now. In a world that's getting flooded with deepfakes and AI-written everything, a world where it's getting harder and harder to know what's real, maybe the single most important skill an English class can teach us is just how to be human. So what do you think?